Now class 8, today we are going to revise this chapter, A Visit to Cambridge. So yesterday we have read about this chapter, that this is a chapter about the famous scientist Stephen Hawking. Okay, the narrator has gone to interview this famous scientist and we have read the detail that what kind of feelings the narrator has and what are the viewpoints of Stephen Hawking. Okay, so he is, although he is not able to speak, although he is not able to walk, still he was communicating very clearly. How he was communicating? By pressing the buttons of the computer, and he is moving on a wheelchair. And on the basis of this, what has happened, that he was, you can say, doing all the, you can say he's doing all his work, all his research work also, and moreover it is just because of this reason that he was able to write down the bestseller book Brief History of Time. Right? So now coming up to the question answers. So first question we have done yesterday. Now coming up to the second question, guess the first question put to the scientist by the writer. What can be the first question asked? Yes, raise up your hands. Somil, Manasvi, tell.
The first question that writer put to the scientist, ma'am, the first question that writer put to the scientist might be, how had he feeling being in a wheelchair, or how he felt after he had accomplished such great things in life despite being differentially abled. To
Yes.
this, scientist replied that he haven't been brave, but he had no other choice.
Very good. So means how he was feeling in wheelchair, or how he had been accomplishing such great things in life being in wheelchair. And to this what he has replied, that he has, of course, means that he had no other choice except to follow, you can say, except to follow, you can say, whatever is, you can say, destiny has given him. So next question is, Stephen Hawking said, I have had no choice. Does the writer think there was a choice, and what was it? Does he had any choice? Yes. Raise up your hands. Give answer. Manasvi, you can.
Yes,
Hmm.
when Stephen Hawking said that he have had no choice, then the writer looked bit positive. He thinks that living creatively with the reality of his disintegrating body was a choice.
Means what is the choice? Means that is living creatively with his disintegrating body. Living creatively with his disintegrating body is, of course, the choice. Otherwise, he did not have any other choice. Okay, so it is only that is to live creatively with the disintegrating body is, of course, the choice that he had. And ultimately, he worked upon that choice, as he had no other choice. So he worked creatively how to take the maximum out of his body who is not working, and this is how he was able to, you can say, achieve success in his life. Fine. Next question is, I could feel his anguish. What could be his anguish? What could be his anguish?
And the Stephen Hawking's mind was completely filled with buoyant thoughts, but he was not able to express them completely, as he was dependent on voice synthesizer. He
How?
was just tapping button on computer, and his sentences were interpreted by it. The writer could feel his inability, that he was only having the movement of his fingers. His words were frozen phrases without any expression. This could be his anguish.
His anguish was the voice synthesizer. Means for every word or every sentence that he has to speak, he has to tap on the buttons of this voice synthesizer, which is further translating his, you can say, words into the voice. And the interviewer is getting the answers. And this is his anguish. Sometimes he is feeling short of words. Sometimes he is incapable to type as much as he could in order to explain what he thinks. Fine. Next. What endeared the scientist to the writer, so that he was looking at one of the most beautiful men in the world? So, what endeared the scientist to the writer? Yes. What endeared the
When
scientist?
writer asked him question, when writer asked him question if he find annoying when someone disturbed in his work like him. To this, the scientist in a smiling manner replied yes. He replied in a positive way. He was so true. So the author felt the beauty of his eternal soul. He also had seen the humanity, beauty deep seated in his heart. He was like a still 3D picture painted on wheelchair, yet delivering a one-way smile. This endeared the scientist to writer.
So ultimately, he has come to know about the incandescence of his soul. Incandescence means the light within his body. Okay, the reflection of that soul is ultimately reaching him, and this is what he is, you can say, finally looking at. Okay, so next. So, what is the description of a beautiful man? It is mentioned. Okay, it is like the beautiful man is like a lantern. Okay, so explain these lines. Yes, speak out these lines.
The most beautiful sentence in the description of the beautiful man is before you like a lantern whose walls are worn so thin you glimpse only the light inside is the incandescence of a man. In
Yes.
this, the writer is delivering the beauty of inner soul. When he made the comparison of Stephen Hawking with lantern, he said that outer body is just adornment, but light, which is the source of attraction, dwells in that case. The glimmer of that soul transcends the wall of that case to, to show the beauty of soul.
Very good. It means that before you like a lantern whose walls are worn so thin you glimpse only the light inside, means like the body is like a lantern and the walls of the body they are so thin. It means that the intensity of the beauty of the soul, it is so great that that light is ultimately reflected and you see not the body but what you see only the beauty inside, and this is what he is looking at. Okay, it means that the body outside it is merely a shadow, nothing else. Okay, and ultimately there are eternal souls which is a source of beauty forever, and this is what is there in this chapter. Okay, and this is what we have come to know about the, you can say the beauty of the soul. Okay, this chapter is actually about the beauty of soul, and this has explicitly and clearly been explained in this chapter. Next is, if the lantern is the man, what would the walls be? What would the walls be?
If the lantern is the man,
Hmm.
its wall be formulating human body structure. It encloses the beautiful human soul.
Yes, what it is the physical structure of the human soul. So, what is housed within the thin walls? What
Light of soul or incandescence of a man is housed within thin walls. It symbolizes the inner beauty of soul and knowledge.
it is an eternal soul which is housed within. So, what is the conclusion does the writer draw from this comparison? What conclusion does the writer draw from this comparison?
The general conclusion that the writer draws is that the soul is more important than the outer body. It means that outer body is just an adornment. The soul and the knowledge both are important that dwells in the body. It is the ultimate reality of the life.
Yes, body is just an adornment. It doesn't matter, but what matters is the knowledge, is the soul. Okay, it means that beauty lies within the body in the form of soul. What great thoughts a person has. Okay, there is the actual beauty where it lies. And what is scientist's message for the disabled? What is the scientist's message for the disabled?
Stephen Hawking's message for the disabled is that they should concentrate upon what they are good at. They
Very good.
should not try to copy others. He
Yes.
thinks that competition like Olympics for disabled people are of no use. It is just a waste of time.
Very good. Means they should concentrate only upon what they are good at. Okay. It means that the disabled people, what they should do, they should concentrate only upon what they are good at. Okay. So playing the Olympics, of which means which capability they don't have. It is just like mere wastage of time for him. And he never wanted to waste such kind of time. He always wanted that people should, you can say people should follow and use their capabilities in order to bring out the creativity that resides in them. So, next, why does the writer refer to guitar incident and which idea does it support? Yes, Rhythm can tell me. Rhythm, I have unmuted you also. I have unmuted you. Some problem is there. Just raise up your hand. so that I can unmute you. Yes, you can speak the answer. Yes, speak the answer. Rhythm, you can speak the answer. I have unmuted you. Some problem. Okay, Somil, you can continue.
Yes. When Stephen Hawking mentioned to the author that the Olympics for the disabled was a complete waste of time, this reminded the writer about his guitar incident that one night he happily unstringed the strings of guitar. This incident supports the idea that the people should only do what they are good at rather than trying to copy themselves.
Copy others. Okay, copy others who are, you can say, whose body is not in the disintegrating form. It means that one day what he has done, he has unstringed all this. He has unstringed his guitar because he is not learning that. Why? Because of his incapability of it. It is just because of the incapability of his body. When he has got this idea that that those, you can say, that those disabled people, okay, that disabled people, they should only concentrate only upon the things what they are good at, but they should not do those things of which their body is not allowing them. At that moment he has realized that it is only wastage of time to learn playing this guitar, and he is not at all good at playing this guitar. And ultimately then what has happened, he has unstrung the, or he has opened up the strings of his guitar, and then finally decided to work only on the things of which he is good at. The writer expresses his great gratitude to Stephen Hawking. And what is the gratitude for? Why he is paying his gratitude? Yes, why he is.
The writer has shown great gratitude to Stephen Hawking for inspiring him and other disabled people, as sometimes the writer is feeling broken down because being disabled, he got fed up by the advices of the people to be courageous, brave, etc. When he saw Stephen Hawking, who was able to achieve so many things despite being differently able, that he was confined only to a wheelchair. He was a brilliant astrophysicist and the author of best-selling book A Brief History of Time. So he draws inspiration from him and filled with gratitude.
Why he was filled with gratitude? It is just first of all for the greatness of his soul, okay, and for his great thoughts, okay. He got so much of inspiration, means real inspiration was there in front of him in the form of Stephen Hawking, because otherwise what happened, that in his life he is getting so much of inspiration to be courageous that seems to be, you can say, impractical for him. He always thought there are so many books, so many people who are speaking of being, you can say, courageous, to be inspirational, but what he was thinking that it is not possible to behave as courageous as it is, you can say, in real life. But Stephen Hawking, he has seen the real person who, in spite of his disintegrating body, who is despite of his capabilities, has written the world famous book. Which is the world famous book? My Brief History of Time. He is a famous astrophysicist, and moreover he has taken over, you can say, he has taken over the task of, you can say, this science, and which is of course really very difficult for other people. And moreover, the great thoughts, the knowledge that he housed inside his body is reflected through his, you can say, body, and outer body is for him is just, it's just nothing like that of a case only. It is only the great thoughts, the knowledge a person has in his life, that is being displayed here. Fine. Understood now? Clear, students?
Yes,
Okay, fine. So
yes,
with this, you can say we have done the revision of this chapter, and now we are going to start with the poem, that is School Boy. Okay, so now we are going to revise this poem, The Schoolboy. Okay, so let us start with the revision of this poem, Schoolboy. It is being displayed here on your screens also. And after that, we are going to have only, you can say, a revision of, you can say that, grammar topics as well as writing skills daily. Okay, because you people are not in front of me. This is the reason why I have not started with that, you can say, imperative sentences. because in online class very few students are giving response, and I hope that in class many students are giving response. And when I look at your faces, I come to know, yes, this child has got and this child is bit confused. Okay, so it is just because of this reason we are going to start with this point. Okay, so this point, the schoolboy, as it is mentioned, okay, here. Okay, so first of all, who is the writer of this point? Let me write on board here also.
William Blake.
William Blake. It is written by William Blake. Okay, so what the poet want to deliver through this poem? The poet, he wants to deliver the strict discipline. Okay, that the child is not enjoying the strict discipline, that is, you can say, part of the school life. He wanted to be free. He thought that if this kind of discipline will prevail, he won't be able to bloom. He won't be able to grow in a proper manner. And for this reason, he is requesting his parents that he should be free from this kind of, you can say, from this kind of strict discipline. He should be allowed to move freely, like a flower or like a feather can float in with the, you can say, with the, you can say, flow of air. And he wanted to be altogether free. He wanted to enjoy his life, right? Okay, so let us have the paraphrase stanza wise explanation of this poem. First of all, the schoolboy. The schoolboy in the poem is not a happy child. What made him unhappy, and why does he compare himself to a bird that lives in a cage or a plant that withers when it should blossom? So now, as I told you, that the boy who is mentioned here in this poem by William Blake is of course not a happy boy. He's not a happy boy. So why he is not a happy boy? This we have already read when we have done this poem. So let us have this stanza wise explanation. First is, I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree. So what is the wish of the poet here? Means who is the speaker here? Actually the poet. He is speaking through a school boy. Okay, it means to a young child. Okay, he is expressing his wishes. Okay, so what he is saying, he says that he loves to wake up early in the morning during the summer morn when everything is so fresh, when the birds, they are singing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn. Huntsman means the persons who are going for hunting. They blow their horns indicating the rise of the morning. And the skylark sings with me, oh, what sweet company. And during that time, small birds like skylark, they are also chirping on the trees. They are also enjoying, they are doing their chitter chatter on the branches of the trees. And this kind of, you can say, scene, of course, it is very, you can say, lively in the morning. And he wanted to be close to nature. He wanted to see all that beauty that is hidden in nature, because otherwise he is, you can say, he is not having any touch with nature. He wanted to enjoy this scene of nature. Okay. So but to go to school in the summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. And I, sorry, under a cruel eye outward. Okay, so now, but to go to school in a summer morn, it drives away all joy away. So the poet is saying, but when he has to go to school during this summer morning, it is taking away all his happiness, all his joy, and he is not at all enjoying his life. And under a cruel eye outworn. So what is the meaning of cruel eye outworn? Is the strict discipline. Strict discipline of teachers, okay, or of school, which is implemented by teachers. Cruel eye outworn is strict discipline. Cruel eye outworn. Okay, what it is the strict discipline of the school which is implemented by the teachers. He's saying he is devoid of any kind of joy. He is devoid of any kind of happiness. And when he is living or when he is doing under the cruel eye of the teachers. The little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. And the little one means the young children. They are not at all happy in this kind of strict atmosphere of the school. They are sighing. Sign means they take deep breaths. Okay, deep breaths means what it shows. It shows their, you can say, unhappiness, that they are not at all happy. Dismay means sadness. They are filled with gloom. They are completely sad during this type of, you can say, during this type of, you can say, atmosphere. They wanted to be free. They wanted to go out. They wanted to do whatever they want. But under this kind of strict discipline, they never want to live. Then at times, 1 minute please. Then at times I drooping sit. Drooping means holding your, you can say, putting your head down. Drooping means in low condition, in low mood. Then at times I drooping sit and spend many an anxious hour. Anxious hour means those happy hours. Okay, nor in my book can I take delight. Now poet is saying, when I'm at school, when I'm under this kind of strict discipline, I am not at all happy. Why I'm not at all happy? Because those happy hours which are meant for enjoyment, I am always under, you can say, strict control. I'm always watched by the vigil eyes of the teachers. They are always, you can say, watching me what I was doing, and even in my books, I don't find any kind of interest. I don't enjoy the reading of my books only, nor sit in learning's bar. Nor sit in learning's bar means, nor learning bar here is school. Okay. What is learning bar? Here it is school. Learning bar, here it is metaphor used. It is a metaphor used for school. Okay. So you know this is tree. Okay. Okay. And what is this? This is the shade that is formed. This is the bar. Okay. So here it is learning bar. What is it? It is school. It is a metaphorically used. Okay. So what is metaphor? A comparison when it is made. Okay. When a comparison is made with something without the use of words like or as. So here this bar is compared to that of school, but no words like or as is used. So what is this? This is an example of, you can say, metaphor. And nor sit in learning's bar, worn through the dreary shower. Worn means he feels tired. Tired because of dreary shower means this kind of sad, uninteresting knowledge. Shar is knowledge. Okay, shar, knowledge or learning. In and he feels disinteresting in this kind of, you can say, disinteresting or uninteresting, you can say, learning that he is getting. And he is feeling very low. He is feeling very sad in this kind of dreary. Shar means the kind of uninteresting knowledge that he is getting. He is always feeling very sad. So what the poet is saying? The poet is saying that he is not at all happy in the school. He always wants to enjoy the days, to enjoy the summer morning. Okay, summer morning when the trees are, you can say, there, when the trees are lively with the chirping of the birds, when everything is so, you can say, happy. And the poet is saying it is really very difficult for him to sit in the learning bar where he has to, you can say, where he has to sit there, and ultimately what he has to do, he has to, you can say, pass those happy hours in sadness, because he is not at all interested in the happy knowledge that he is getting, because that knowledge, it never seems to him as happy. This is always, he is always feeling sad there. Okay, next, how can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? So how can the bird, now again comparison is made. Poet is making a comparison of himself with that of bird. So again, like or as words are not used. So again, this is metaphor. Now the poet is saying that how can the bird that is born for joy, like he is like a bird. Who, bird means what is the, you can say, what is ultimate bliss for bird? To enjoy his life. So what he is saying it is, of course, it is really very difficult for him to be like in this kind of strict atmosphere, like a bird is in cage. He is not so free. And how can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing. Means a child who is in this kind of strict discipline, what he will do nothing. Okay, but what he will do, droop his, means put down his, you can say tender wing. Tender means the wings of flight. Here the wings of flight is of enjoyment. What he will do, he will sit sadly in one corner and forget his youthful spring. And what will happen? And the child in this kind of strict atmosphere, he will definitely forget the kind of enjoyment that he is going to get otherwise. He will forget that what kind of life will be possible for him. And it is just because of this reason the poet is not at all feeling happy in this kind of strict atmosphere, right? So now this is all about this poem. Just 2 paragraphs are left. So those 2 paragraphs we will do tomorrow. Okay. So now after that, we will discuss the question answers. Of course, we will also discuss the extracts. Okay. Many extract based questions I have already given you, but we are going to discuss these also.